All right, we're going back to the bullpen with Mike Stanton, and we're going to talk about the Houston Astros future all-star pitcher, Ronel Blanco. He continues to impress. And also the Astros, how do they get more consistent at the plate? What needs to be done? Are they sellers? Are they buyers? Let's talk about it right now.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, man, I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heat low in the way, you can't hit it. You know you wanna start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walk your back, looking like we ain't cool then. Game's over, might as well put them back to the bullpen. Oh yeah.
That's right, and we are back to the bullpen. I'm here with Mike Stanton. Mike, it's good to see you. Happy late Father's Day to you. How was your weekend, sir, and how's it going?
Hey, same to you. Everything's going well. It's been a little while since we've actually done this, and we missed last week a little bit because you weren't feeling up to snuff. But hey, we're back at it, and this Astros team, well, we're kind of right where we were last time we left off.
Yeah, it is just a season of inconsistency. You go into Chicago hoping that you find just get into a stride, maybe go in and sweep the White Sox. They've lost 9 series in a row. You have a little reunion with some former players, Maldi, Corey Julks, Corey Lee. And what do you know? You walk out the first game licking your wounds to a 2-0 loss. And I've got some theories as to what helped them lose that game. Not that it's not their fault, but I think some other external factors didn't help the cause. But on top of that, we've got Ronel Blanco is looking every bit of an all-star pitcher. Later on, we'll talk about the 3 Astros that are leading the voting for the American League. Now, it's early. Other fan bases are going to see that their guy's not on top, so they're going to probably vote even more this next time. Create a couple free email accounts, I'm sure. Give you 15, 20, 30 votes daily.
Yeah.
But this offense, now going into this game, Mike, you were with Yordan Alvarez, who wasn't in there simply because he had a family situation come up. They didn't expand on that. And then Kyle Tucker still out. They haven't said whether or not he's going to need a rehab start when he comes back, but he's still not 100%. So those 2 big bats out of the lineup. But you're like, hey, we're going against a rookie, a guy that's never thrown a complete game. Easy feelings, right? Or not?
Well, not. And here's the reason why. And listen, we don't want to take anything away from Jonathan Cannon. Right. He threw the ball exceptionally well today. But I have said this ad nauseum. I've said this so many times. Major league lineups do not like to face pitchers they don't have a track record against. And Cannon is a rookie. The Astros have never seen him before. And if you're a young pitcher and you're in a situation like this and you're able to throw strikes, you absolutely have the advantage. Now, yeah, the Astros did get 7 hits, but they went 0 for with runners in scoring position. Didn't have a whole lot of opportunities. I think 0 for 5 and left 6 on base.
Yeah.
But, going into this series, you're talking about a team that has only won 19 games. They're 19 and I think 52 going into this game tonight. So they get the win, their 20th win. But it's just one of those things. Yeah, you go into this series and you want to sweep. And I think anything short of that, you're going to look at a missed opportunity. Now you have to win the next 2 games just to win the series. So it's so frustrating sometimes to watch because it seems like this team is just right on the edge of getting right. And it seems like it's always, 1 step forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. And you're just not able to get on that roll that you want to. Now, the thing is, after this White Sox series, I believe they play Baltimore. Well, you better buckle your chin strap because that is a good team, unlike this White Sox team.
Yeah, you got 3 games against Baltimore at home. I mean, you literally play a 110 game Thursday, which is more than likely going to be a bullpen game. Going to be Arrighetti probably starting, but they got Nick Hernandez now as a result of the injury to Justin Verlander. But today, Jose Altuve showed emotion like I have never seen him show moments after he was called out on strikes on a horrible call, I would have to say, several inches above the strike zone. And look, I know umpires are going to miss it, but man, I used the analogy earlier. It's almost like Fromber's strike zone was this baseball card, and Cannon's strike zone was my shelf behind me. It was just a little different. And Espada went out, stated his case, was pointing to Jose Altuve, and Jose Altuve was just, man, he was on fire. He was on fire.
Yeah, and you don't see that from Jose, ever. Jose does not show emotions regardless of whether he does something well. That's not true. I guess he does celebrate. But, you never see him say anything to the umpires. You don't ever say him say, anything to the other team. He's just Jose Altuve. Seems to be, one of the nicest guys on the planet. But I think what you really saw, that wasn't just the frustration of Jose Altuve. I think that was, just a microcosm of everything. That's the frustration of the whole team. And, it's unfortunate that, you can't have that consistency behind home plate. I don't like to pick on the umpires. I don't like to rag on the umpires, but, that's the one thing you're asking for, whether it's a big strike zone or a small strike zone, the consistency of it. And you just didn't see that tonight. And that's where those frustrations come up. And I completely understand. Hey, sometimes, you just can't hold it in. It's like a cancer. It's just going to eat you alive. You got to let it out. And, so Jose let it out, and hopefully he's better for it.
Yeah, no, hopefully that'll kind of, get this motor turning, because this team has just been looking for something to get themselves fired up. I mean, the series that they just got through having, where they lost 13-5 to Detroit on Saturday, but they won 4-0 on Friday, 4-1 on Sunday. Ronel Blanco almost throws another no-hitter. They almost throw a combined no-hitter. And it's just so like this team is just, I think you're right about Jose Altuve and the frustration, because this is, I mean, we still have people going, well, there's 89 games left.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of games left, but there's a lot of people in the fan base going, that's great. But that kind of brings us to our next point, is the injuries, Mike. I mean,
they just keep piling up, don't they?
Justin Verlander going on a 15-day IL because of neck soreness. And you're just going, oh my gosh, like how many more guys are going to go down? Because when you look at everybody that's injured right now, and you know what's crazy is we've got a bunch of movement in the minor leagues. I mean, we got Dana Brown's 2023 draft picks moving through the system, and we can't even talk about that because every time we turn around, someone's going on the IL. Justin Verlander, perennial Hall of Famer. Neck. Did you ever deal with neck stiffness? Did you ever deal with anything that wasn't necessarily your arm or maybe your elbow? And can you kind of explain a pitcher's perspective when things aren't all right?
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed that it is just his neck. And I don't want to say that they're lying. I don't want to say, because I'm not, that's not the case.
Right.
But I mean, think about this. A pitcher is straining his shoulders, his arm every time he throws the ball. The head's moving back and forth. So it's all tied together, So you can't have a stiff neck and pitch. It's just, you're just not going to be able to do it. But yeah, I have. I mean, I had, there were times I had knee issues, I had ankle issues, I had lower back. Heck, 1991 World Series, I was carried off the field in Game 7. I couldn't stand up. I had hurt my back during I believe it was the ninth inning of Game 7. That's the game that put Jack Morris in the Hall of Fame. That he went 10 shutout. And yeah, so there, you have aches and pains all over everywhere, and you have them all the time. It's not like you go out there, but every once out of every 6 or 7 times, and you go, you know what, head to toe, I feel pretty good. There's always something going on. But, JV, the way he's been pitching, this is a guy that usually has impeccable control. And we've seen him walking guys, and we see him missing his spots. And it just, things just didn't seem right. So we don't know how long this neck issue has been going on. But, when you watch, if hindsight, you look back and you look at how he was throwing the ball and the results of what he was doing, he just looked off. So hopefully this is going to get right.
Yeah, and he looked like he was laboring more, like especially after those 2 really long extended outings that he pitched well in. I mean, look, Father Time is undefeated. Someone asked me on the other show, they were like, what do you think he's suffering from? And I'm like, OLD. He's suffering from being old, and all of us get older. And the thing is, Justin Verlander, I think more than just about anybody, knows when his body's barking at him, knows what's going on. He said he sat down, and I thought this was unique because you don't hear many things like this from Justin Verlander. He said 2 days before his start, he sat down with the rest of the staff, and he said, look, guys, I'm probably going to get scratched. I'm probably not going to be able to go.
Yeah.
Like, so he goes, Spencer Arrighetti was not surprised by starting. So everybody's like, oh, well, he didn't have a good start because they just told him. Well, Justin Verlander knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
And he was just hoping. He's like, look, I'm going to try to make it, but I may wake up and I may not be able to. So,
that's the veteran leader that JV is that, I'm not going to be a hero. I'm not going to go out there and hurt the team. We can't afford to give a start away or give a win away because, I can't get out of the second inning because of neck stiffness. I don't want to put that kind of stress on the team. Now, it didn't work out, but, that's still, who JV is. He's a guy that's gonna take responsibility for what's happening. And, you would wish that would happen more often,
Exactly.
But hopefully it's only 15 days. It does get retroactive to the last time he pitched. So hopefully it is only 15 days and he can get those neck issues under control and get back there on the mound as the JV we know and love, not necessarily the guy that was having command issues prior to going on the IL.
Okay. Exactly. Whoa. How did that happen? Oh, hold on. I mean, we got to go to commercial. I just had this shirt. Like, look, I got a Back to the Bullpen shirt. You got one?
I think so. Right here. It must be magic.
That was weird. I was wearing a polo, and now I'm wearing my Back to the Bullpen shirt.
Wow.
These things are magical. The QR code right there on the screen is where you get one. Now,
that's right.
I promise you that you'll get air delivered and maybe air dropped onto you while you're watching something. But I promise you that when you get it, it's comfortable. It fits. I mean, you can wear it on dates. You can wear it to Walmart. You can wear it to church. You can wear it wherever. I mean, if you're going to Costco to pick up the 1,000-pack of toilet paper that you get, once every 4 months, you can wear it there. Actually, we got a guy. There's a guy. He's kind of a super fan. His name's Justin Gonzalez. He wears the crown. He's got the big gnarly.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he's got the Back to the Bullpen Rams.
Yeah, he does.
In the rotation. And so he supports us that way. And he said that he's like, man, he goes, I want to meet Mike. Mike's a cool guy. And so But yeah, Justin's a good guy, and I don't know if y'all have gotten to meet this year or not, but
He's come by the set when I was there, and we waved. We didn't get a chance to really talk or anything, but yeah, we've kind of waved to each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So okay. So this injury bug, and I want to talk about this not just with us, but league wide.
Yeah.
I mean, now obviously injuries are going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have someone like Ronald Acuna Jr. who blows out his other knee, basically.
Oh.
And then you have Mookie Betts goes down with, I believe, a broken hand. He's out several weeks. Yamamoto, their big signee in the offseason, along with Otani, he's on the 15-day IL. You have more and more guys going down with elbow and arm injuries, pitcher wise. Is it because we focus on it more now, or do you think that the number of injuries has increased? I mean, you were in the trenches for 19 years with Major League Baseball. Does it seem like, I mean, could some of these things just be consequence, or do we just is injuries just becoming more and more common with the game?
Well, I think it's definitely being more common. Is this an issue across Major League Baseball? Absolutely it is. Okay. Is there something they can do? Well, I don't think so. That sometimes we just have years like this in Major League Baseball that people get hurt. And it seems like it seems like there may be a trend or something, but especially pitchers wise, what are the reasons? Well, there's many reasons.
Right.
The max effort, the max spin, throwing your bullpens on the side in between starts, on days you don't pitch, max effort. That you only have so many bullets in the belt. But, some of it is this also just by chance. It just, the human body was not made to throw the ball overhand. And that's why we break. Some of the other injuries, there's freak injuries, but, it does seem like we've had a plague of injuries of various sorts this year. And it seems like it is more than in previous years. And maybe it is. Nothing you can really do about it. And that's why we play. That's why you play 162 games. That's why you play for 6 months, is that, everybody is going to have to put up with some kind of trials and tribulations, that you can't just get hot, for a couple weeks and win a world championship, World Series. So it's unfortunate that it happens. Everybody's putting up with it. Astros seem to be a team that's putting up with it more than others.
Yeah.
But, we've heard Dana Brown say, listen, nobody's going to feel sorry for the Astros. Nobody's going to feel sorry for anyone.
No.
The old saying, a league of their own. There's no crying in baseball. You just have to move on and do whatever you can to try and win baseball games.
Yeah, exactly. And, for whatever reason, and I think this goes without saying how much we respect those Hall of Famers, those guys who used to play the game. But I don't know. I'm sure you heard the news during the Astros broadcast that Willie Mays passed away at the age of 93. He played his first pro game at the Rick Wood Field, where they're actually going to play a game this year.
Yeah,
they're going to recreate. They're going to have a pro baseball game, a Major League Baseball game there. But Willie Mays, literally. This guy was the say hey kid. He had the basket catch over his shoulder. I was looking at his stats: 24 All-Star games, 12 Gold Gloves. This
is one of the best baseball players to ever walk on the field.
I mean,
the unfortunate thing about it is that when we see videos of Willie Mays, we see him swinging and falling down. We saw him right at the very end of his career, but this guy was as good as anyone has ever been on a baseball field. Also, I had the honor and pleasure of meeting him and talking with him. I played for the Giants. Oh gosh, that would be in 2006, I believe. The last 2 months of the season, I got traded over there, and he spent almost every day. It seemed like almost every day in the manager's office, just sitting there talking to whoever came in, just telling stories, and it was awesome, to walk in and go, that's Willie Mays.
Yeah.
So that's not just an old guy. That's Willie freaking Mays.
Yeah.
Sitting there telling war stories. So listen, it's a fact of life. Death is a fact of life.
Yeah.
It's part of it's part of life. But man, does it hurt to lose these old timers, and there'll never be another one. I mean, we've had some great baseball players. We'll have some more great baseball players, but there was only one Willie Mays.
Exactly. And he was one of the guys that I actually had the honor of meeting as a kid growing up. And a lot of the Hall of Famers that I've met through the years have passed on. Stan Musial, Mickey Mantle, Hank Aaron, Joe DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio if I remember correctly, was just I was surprised he was signing autographs. It was actually, I think, his second to last show that he ever signed. But something I enjoy about the older players is you hear the stories. And there was a guy that pitched for the Angels. I believe, I want to say his name. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher his name. His last name was Hall. I'll have to look it up because I only met him one time. He was my neighbor's father, and he told me stories about how he had Mickey Mantle's number and how he could not hit a ball. But the only person he could never really hit, he said, I got my hits in spring training, but he said Sandy Koufax was always trying out his new pitches on him in spring training. He said they would cuss at each other back and forth. Old school baseball. You love that. But speaking of all-stars, the Astros have 3 players that are leading all-star voting early. Kyle Tucker, you have Yordan Alvarez, and Jose Altuve. And Jose Altuve is having a great year. Yordan Alvarez is having a good year. He's had flashes of absolute brilliance. And Kyle Tucker, man, I promise you this guy would have at least 3 or 4 more home runs had he been on the field these last couple weeks, or these last games, because he was tearing it up. But who knows? The Astros could have 4 or 5 representatives, one with Ronel Blanco. Do you think Ronel Blanco's all-star worthy?
I think he is. Yes, I do. You look at his stats. You look at the data. He's among the league lead in several categories. If it wasn't for the suspension, he would be right there in innings pitched also. He would be right there, top, I don't know, I have to look at top 5 or top 8 in ERA. But what has he not done? Astros are 10-3 in his starts. I mean, he has been an all-star. And where would he be? Where would the Astros be without him? I mean, right. They lost tonight. I believe that moves them back to, was it 7 games under 500?
They are 7 games under.
Yeah. But like I said, they're 10-3 in his starts. He has done anything and everything you could imagine, including throwing a no-hitter and then, throwing, a one-hitter through 6 innings or whatever. I mean, just been outstanding. Last time out throwing a shutout through 7. I mean, just been outstanding. I don't know what else he could do. Right. I mean, are there other pitchers that are more deserving? I don't know. I have to look at the list, but you can't say he's not deserving.
Oh yeah, no. And that's what's great. Explain that process. So that is voted on by the coaches exclusively, or coaches and players?
Are you talking the pitching staff? The pitching staff is by the coaches that will, that will, the manager and the coaches. Right. It's really the manager. He gets to make the team. That now we get situations that, guys can't go, so just because, let's say he doesn't make it on the first ballot, meaning not the first ballot, the first list, because you're not, they're not voted on. So there is no ballot for pitchers, but they're always, this guy's not going to pitch. So you replace him. This guy's not feeling, his arm's not isn't healthy. So you replace him. So we'll have to wait and see, but in my mind, Ronel Blanco absolutely deserves to be an American League All-Star.
Oh yeah. I mean, to think about, he has Dana Brown from 2 years ago has pushed for him to be the starter. And we saw the flashes of his brilliance, some in his relief tenure with the Astros, also when he was playing winter ball down in the Dominican, and he's down there playing, and just he's come full circle. And the work he put in the off season, it just stinks that we can't have more healthy pitchers around him. Because if you have Blanco, and if you have a healthy Verlander, and you have, Fromber, and you have Hunter Brown, who's found the sinker again, I mean, this staff really, you make 2 or 3 guys healthy, and this is one of the better staffs in all of Major League Baseball.
There's no doubt, but this is the nature of the beast. I mean,
but it's not the reality.
What's the old saying? Ifs and buts, we're chips and nuts, and then we can have a party.
Right.
But you have to put up with it. And sometimes there are teams that have an extraordinarily high number of injuries. Most of the time, those teams don't win. And the Astros have had a tough time doing just that with the injuries that they've had. Hopefully Tucker's going to be able to get back on his feet. I don't know if he's going to need a rehab start. I think if you can, or a rehab assignment, I think if you can get him back in the next day or two, maybe he doesn't. But we'll have to wait and see. It's really up to Kyle. If Kyle feels like his timing is going to be good enough, and he can still. The thing is, with Kyle getting Jordan back in the lineup, even if they're not swinging the bat very well, they make a difference just by being their presence in the lineup, just by being there. True. Those guys are so good that they make the players around them better just by their presence. It makes the pitcher throw different pitches to the other guys when you have Kyle Tucker sitting on deck as the next hitter. So hopefully they can get back relatively quickly. Because like you said, I still expect this Astros team to beat this White Sox team in this series, even though they lost today. I expect them to win the next 2 games. But then they got Baltimore, and Baltimore is a very, very good team. So you're going to need all your horses when you go against one of the best teams in the American League.
Yeah, they're just good. I mean, they are
up
just
and down.
So much young talent. I just caught this by chance, but there was a famous baseball card in the 1989 Fleer set where Billy Ripken had a bat, and somebody on the bottom of his bat
had a choice word on the bottom of the bat. Yes,
little F face on there. Well, they created in the 2024 Topps update, I think, Jackson Holiday has a bat, but it says fun face on the bat. And they made it his card this year.
Nice.
So I thought that was great that was because I remember when that card came out, and I remember because back then they just printed cards like it was nothing, because there weren't limited.
Oh, well, there were multiple. But prior to 94, I mean, there were so many card companies. They were all putting out multiple full sets a year.
Right.
The crazy thing, I still get fan mail and everything like that. The majority of the cards that I get are Braves cards, just because there's so many out there.
Oh yeah.
Playing in the early 90s. But
I've actually found some of your cards.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. I'm gonna have to get them to you. We'll get them out to some fans.
But 94, gosh, it went down to Topps maybe Fleer, just one or two companies made it through the strike in 94.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now Topps is the only card company that has the license from Major League Baseball and the not the MLPA. They're the only company that can print the actual logos on the jerseys. So if you get a card that's not a Topps card, like if you get a Panini or Donruss or whatever, which that's all kind of the same company, it says Houston baseball team. Yeah, there's no logo.
Yeah.
Well,
we used to sign a contract. Every player signed a contract with Topps every year. And they give you, the $50 or something like that.
Wow.
But you signed, I guess the rights to your name or whatever it was. It was a one sheet contract, but everybody had to sign it.
Oh yeah. No, let me tell you, it is big money now. And I showed this card earlier. There's a guy on TikTok that creates his own cards.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually signed by the guy who made it on the back, and it says 1 of 1. And this is literally like 3 or 4 different Altuve cards. In between Jose Altuve and the card in the background is a World Series champion patch, part of a patch.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes these, and you request a player, and you can get one for $40, any player. And it's really neat. He's kind of like an artist, and he makes his own cards, and he basically cuts up really good cards and makes hybrid cards of them. So, but yeah, cool. Baseball card collecting, sports memorabilia collecting is always fun. But hey, this has been a great episode, Mike. Thanks for tuning in. We'll definitely have to maybe settle back in. Hopefully, maybe after the White Sox series. Who knows? Maybe they go on to beat the White Sox and the Orioles, and
I like it.
And maybe we're just being negative Nancy's. Maybe
stay positive out there, people. Stay positive.
Stay positive. There's still time. So thank y'all for tuning in. I'm H-Town Wheelhouse we are coming to you from the Ramshirt Studios, and our sponsor, Stay There Barbershop. Make sure you go by 1616 South Friendswood Drive. Tell Ever that Mike and Brett sent you. For myself, I know that I'm going to be watching the Astros, and I'm going to go back to the bullpen.
Adios.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, and I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heat low in the way, you can't hit it. You know you want to start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive